Yeah, just a quick review of the AKSO MEDICOS CMC thumb brace. So this brace is made specifically for people who have arthritis pain or just pain in general in the joint that's at the bottom of the thumb. It's also known as the CMC or the carpometacarpal joint. So that's what the CMC is about. So what this does is basically it supports the joint and restricts its motion so that the joint can kind of rest, recover, and not get overstressed when you're doing things. So a few points about this particular brace. It does have a bendable metal strip here. So when you put it on, you can kind of squeeze it with the other hand, kind of pinch it together. So you get kind of a customizable, some customization there. Make it tighter if you want. It also does come with a thumb sleeve, so in other words, you would put the thumb sleeve on first, and then you would put the brace on over that. That's mainly, I think, just for people that might have sensitive skin, and maybe the brace might irritate them for some reason. So that's always just nice to have. So permanent, temporary relief, how does it work? Well, I mean, sometimes it's just an overworked thumb joint, when you rest it for a while on the splint, then you're pretty much good to go as long as you don't overstress it again. Conditions like arthritis, though, tend to become chronic long-term conditions. So you really need to do a couple things other than just wear the brace to get relief, and especially get relief when the brace is off. So as an example, I'll take this book, The Healthy Thumb Handbook. Basically, what you want to do is a couple other things, such as relaxing the thumb muscles. So if you have problems with the joint itself, a lot of times you can have joint pain, of course, but then on top of that, the muscles actually a lot of times can get irritated and react to what's going on in the joint. So not only do you have joint pain, but you also have muscular pain. So, you could have a couple components to your pain, muscular and joint. Sometimes you can actually have an arthritic joint and have no pain at all, but then it's just the muscles that are giving you trouble. Muscles can get these things in them called trigger points, so you can work those trigger points out. Those are like irritable spots in the muscle, and so you work those out, then you can get rid of, some of your pain, sometimes all of your pain if it's mainly muscular. So this will show you how to do that. If you do have CMC joint arthritis, your web space is at risk for getting really tight, so you really want to make sure that you keep your web space stretched out. The other thing joints that are really irritated is distraction. So distraction is where you're kind of gently pulling the joints apart, kind of like those inversion tables, where you lay upside, you kind of get on them and then you hang upside down. Basically that kind of decompresses the joint, takes all the pressure off the joint. And basically distraction's just kind of a big vacation for the joint, because as the pressure's off the joint, it can rest, relax, recover. Circulation is get good circulation to it, and pain's better. So here's a simple distraction technique that you can use. Here's probably one of the more important things, getting maximal thumb joint stability. So there's a couple muscles actually that support that joint, the CMC joint. One of them is called your abductor pollicis longus. And as you can see, that sucker attaches right to the base of the thumb there. So what you do is you get that strengthened. Now this book advocates one exercise that you use a rubber band for progressive resistance. So week by week, as that abductor pollicis longus gets stronger and stronger, you're gonna get more stability in that joint, and you're also gonna get more dynamic stability. So that's stability, you get more control over the joint as you're moving it. So week by week, that all equals less pain. So get that thing stronger, more stability, less pain. Also, there's one other muscle, this book points out, the first dorsal interossei muscle that attaches right to the base of the thumb. Same thing, that helps stabilize the joint. One exercise here. So really, these exercises take like 2 minutes or less to do, and you're talking maybe a total of 5 minutes. You only do them 2, maybe 3 times a week. So week by week, these things get stronger, more stability, less pain. So actually, lots of things you can do for that joint at the bottom if you know what to do. But nothing's as quick as slapping a brace on it, giving that immediate rest. So it's a good brace. Check it out.